that I am from technically are India and Philippines, but I will be talking about India.
What countries would you like to visit?
One country that I would really like to visit is Japan because of how technologically advanced they are, and it's just really interesting to see what they have compared to what we have in America.
So can you tell us the foods that you eat in India?
So India is mainly known for their spices, so we definitely have a lot of curries, a lot of grains like rice and bread like roti and stuff. So I think mainly is curry, so that's what we usually eat.
So what kind of music do you listen to?
So the type of music that we, I guess, in our country listens to, so India has like definitely more than 200 languages in the country, and my family probably knows about 4 of them. So out of the 4, I listen to 2 languages. One language is called Hindi and the other is called Tamil, and those are probably the 2 main languages of type of music that I listen to. And then just in general, I just listen to any. I'm not against any type of music. I have an eclectic taste of music.
So what is your favorite celebration?
So India has a really fun festival called Holi, and basically it means kind of like the holiday of colors, or the festival of colors, or it could also mean the festival of love. It's basically, meaning that you take the evil out and the good comes in. It's when winter's over and it's the beginning of spring. So it has a lot of deep meaning about how we can just always start over even something bad has happened. So it just brings a good vibe.
So why is your culture unique from others?
So in India, it's very family oriented there. So basically, people are very close. Usually you'll see families in houses that are basically living with their aunts and uncles and cousins. So it's just like a joint family, I guess you would call it. Also, with just any type of events or weddings, it is known that you have to invite everybody in your neighborhood, or else it's an insult because you didn't invite them. So a typical wedding in India would be around 600 people or even more. And also, it's the fact that we also have just a lot of different languages, a lot of different things like food and stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff.
So what is an interesting fact about your culture?
So this is not really within my family specifically, but I know in India that we do have the caste system, which is basically, a hierarchy of levels of people, like your stature or your status. And, there's the people who are politics technically, but the kings back then, and then, they have the untouchables where you can't really go near the person because they're seen as dirt. But it's pretty sad. Hopefully it'll change in India, but that's one fact that happens.
So what are types of clothing and fashion in India?
So what I know is that the ladies, they wear saris, which is a really big dress that's very fancy. It can come from just very simple fabrics that are light, but then once you get to the really big bedazzled ones, they can be pretty heavy with gold or diamonds and very colorful. India is known for being pretty colorful, so there's a lot of different varieties within that. I just know that India just loves gold a lot, so you'll see a bunch of people wearing gold earrings, gold necklaces. They have the headpiece that is gold. I know that in my past of lineage, that's what you call it, my grandmothers wore a lot of gold earrings, so that is one thing about our fashion.
So can you tell us some of the religions in India?
So definitely the main religion that overpowers everything, I guess I could say, is the Hindu religion. It's definitely the majority of the population. As we know in the past, there was a whole thing between the Muslims and the Hindus. And there is some Islamic religion there also, but there are Hindus that are there depending on their stature or their status. As I mentioned before about the caste system, there are some that are vegetarian and some that are not vegetarian because it's important to them, how they don't eat cows because it's seen as a god. They have a lot of idols, definitely a lot of them that represent different things. They have a god for money, a god for love, a god for just evil, and they have different festivals based on that, on how they worship their idols. And it's interesting behind the stories that they have.
Are there any other religions other than Hinduism?
Yeah, there is a bunch. There's also Sikhism, Jainism. There's so many I can't even like actually think of them. But they obviously have different beliefs. Sikhism is probably one of the other popular ones, where they are the ones that wear the turban because they just like to keep everything in order. They're the ones that can't cut their hair. They also have to wear a bracelet wherever they go. They actually just keep a knife in their turban just as a sign of like protection. And there's like a lot of other things that they also have to do.
Hi, I'm Roger Buell. I'm from Ireland and I'm a third generation Irish American.
So tell us, where would you like to visit?
Probably the place I'm most interested in visiting right now would have to be Italy or Rome, specifically Rome.
And why?
I'm very interested in the food and the architecture there.
So what are the types of foods and dishes that your culture eats?
We like to eat really hefty foods, such as like pork recipes, and of course, like Ireland, we love potatoes. I know probably 4 different ways to cook a potato: hash browns, baked potato, mashed potatoes, you name it. I know how to cook it. So we just really like starchy and really heavy foods there.
So tell us about types of music from your culture.
Ireland really loves dance and chanty type music, jigs and whatnot. Fiddle is probably the most common instrument you'll hear of traditional Irish music, though nowadays Ireland really isn't that traditional, maybe for holidays or special events in local communities, but it's really more so about rock. Irish rock bands are very common. U2 is probably the biggest one that over here we know about. There's also the Dublineers and a few other rock bands that actually incorporate the fiddle and other traditional Irish instruments, but into a more rock ballad type.
So what is your favorite Irish holiday or celebration?
Well, Ireland typically follows a Christian calendar for holidays, so any important day for Christianity, Christmas, Easter is typically off in Ireland. So Christmas would have to be my favorite holiday, though probably the 2 Irish holidays, one we celebrate over here is St. Paddy's Day, but there's also St. Stephen's Day, which is the day after Christmas, known as Boxing Day in Britain. But St. Stephen's Day is another saint that is featured in Ireland, and it's typically a very olden time celebration directly after Christmas, but I'd say Christmas is my favorite holiday.
So what makes the Irish culture unique from others?
I think Irish culture has a very wide branch to it, as it strongly influences a lot of Europe, but also has a very strong influence in America as well. So I'd say we're very populous, and I feel like we are very, we try to be independent, and I think because of our strong independence, we actually do help influence nations that would be considered a lot larger than us.
Could you tell us one fact about your culture?
Yes, Ireland, Halloween originated in Ireland, and we brought it to America. Halloween was typically a Celtic celebration, around 400 years ago. And then when a lot of Irish immigrated in the 1800s to America, that's when Halloween became commercialized, about 50 years later. So yeah, Ireland invented Halloween.
So tell us about the language or the languages, if they speak any one different than English in Ireland.
Well, the most common is English. However, there is a originated Celtic language that is traditionally Irish. So Irish is considered dual lingual. So the 2 national languages are this Celtic Irish as well as English.
So can you tell us a little bit about the religion in Ireland?
Well, Ireland is very Christian. However, it is very largely dominated by what side of Ireland you're on. There's Catholic areas of Ireland and there's Protestant areas of Ireland, and they're very different from each other, very territorial. How you eat is different depending if you're raised in the Catholic and Protestant side, and even what you drink is determined by what's on the Catholic and Protestant side. The 2 biggest Irish whiskey brands that you might know about, Jameson and Bushmills. Bushmills is from the Catholic side, and Jameson is made from the Protestant side. And to notable consumers, they do taste distinctly different from each other. My father was actually raised in the Protestant side, but he converted to the Catholic side later on in life.